Bernard asked I don't even know, is this a question? Business aspect of motocross. I could talk all day on the business aspect of motocross. Business is turned into my passion along with teaching. I'd say teaching is the passion. Business is the thing that supports that passion. But there is something to be said for the creativity that is involved on a day-to-day basis to have a vision, articulate that vision to a team of people, and then move pieces strategically and solve problems strategically to be able to make that vision come to life is insanely cool. Insanely cool. And maybe the advice I would give people is have that outlook on your life. That's what your life is. If you really boil it down, you have the opportunity for your own life to create out of it anything that you want, anything that you can possibly imagine. And then you can start working towards that thing. I actually didn't realize that until I was doing it with the business. And then I took a step back and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have to just do this with the business. I can actually do this with my whole life. An example would be I took the book Traction by Gino Wickman, which is, it provides an entrepreneurial operating system is what it's called, which is an operating system for a business, from you're creating a 10-year goal, building that, reverse engineering that backwards to be able to get you your 90-day rocks and to be able to get you that traction to the ground right here, right now, today. You can also take that and use it in your own life. And yeah, so I guess if I'm going to talk about anything right now, go read Traction by Gino Wickman. Whether you own a business or not, it doesn't matter. And read it for building out the vision of your life, especially the goal setting and taking that vision traction organizer is what it's called, filling it out. Again, not for your business if you don't have a business, but for your life, and look far into the future. In this book, the example is the 10 years and build out that 10-year mark, 5 years, 3-year, 1 year, 90-day rocks, and you can backtrack from there. And it gives you, when you work backwards like that, and you take that 10-year huge vision, unrealistic goal, and then bring it back all the way to a weekly and a daily objective and tasks to be able to get there, it helps you steer the ship. And it gives you traction to be able to do something about it now. The hard part about, and where people have reservations in making long-term goals, is they just think that they're unrealistic and they don't think that it helps them do anything right now, right here, today, which is, well, ultimately the most important part, because if you're not doing anything, nothing's going to get done. The action that you take every second of every day is what determines the next things that happen. You could sit there and think all you want and nothing's going to magically appear in front of you. Like, you actually have to take the steps. And in reading the book Traction by Gino Wickman, for me, it created a really nice visual of how to take those steps. And when you're creating the 10-year, the advice that I would give you guys is think bigger. So write something down, sleep on it, go back to it, read it again, think about it, and try to make it bigger. For example, like and this is a big difference, my 10-year originally was $10 million. It was $10 million for selling a percentage of the Moto Academy or something involving $10 million. And that remained the 10-year vision for a while. And then I finally thought about it and I was like, well, 10 years down the road is 2034, $10 million. That's not nearly a big enough goal. So now I've changed it to $100 million, which is 10 times different, and worked back from there. And actually, when I did work backwards, it made quite a bit of sense when I got to our 90-day rocks and even, your monthly and weekly and daily tasks. So audit that 10-year plan, think bigger. Don't share it with anybody if you don't want, because you will certainly, in anybody's 10-year, you tell anybody a 10-year plan and people are going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to try to discourage you, whether it be maliciously or not. Very likely will not be maliciously, but they'll try to instill some type of like realisticness in you. And there's two pieces of advice I've got in life that have been extremely bad. One is be realistic. And I think that is horrible, horrible advice. And two is if something is too good to be true, it probably is. Also horrible, horrible advice. I lived a lot of my life kind of operating within those two things. And when you create your 10-year vision, you quite literally need to be pretty unrealistic with it. I mean, at least in my opinion. And take that for a grain of salt, with a grain of salt. But I've created an industry out of almost an industry that didn't exist. I am able to operate a business that makes more money than I could have ever imagined making. And it's the least amount of money that I'll ever make. Doing the thing that I love doing the most. I'm living my dream life and then some. A dream life that I couldn't even have imagined 5 years ago. And so to think what is accomplishable in 10 years, it's nuts. It's nuts. And everybody listening to this is capable of way more than what you think you are. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.